All right, everybody. Welcome to my eTools Tech Tips Splainer on hamburgers and meatballs. So we've all seen those things in the websites here and there, and they all mean something and do something. We don't always know what they mean or what they do, and we usually don't even know what to call them. So I'm going to just go over some of the more popular ones here. You can see there's three to my left and three to my right, or three to my left and three to my right. Not sure how it looks on your end of it. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is the hamburger. Now, the hamburger was invented in the United States, which is news to me. I thought it was invented in Hamburg, Germany. Apparently not, but it's a cooked patty, usually ground beef, and you put it in between a sliced bun, and then you can garnish it with various toppings. So lettuce, tomatoes, onions, cheese, uh, and ketchup or pickles, mustard, mayonnaise, really. In any case, that's the real deal. But in the digital world, the hamburger menu is the navigation element that consists of the horizontal lines, one over another. So they're equally long lines, one over another, and it looks like a hamburger, and that's how it got its name. Pretty cool, right? So it's more common in mobile devices or responsive websites where when it needs to save room, it'll automatically save room, and then it'll give you that little hamburger menu for you. And when you click on it, it typically will reveal hidden item menus or what they call a navigation drawer. That's a topic for a different day. But it's really designed to save space and to keep the interface website, whatever you're looking at, neater, cleaner, and more user-friendly. Then we have meatballs. So meatballs now are ground beef that's rolled into a ball this time, and typically you're going to have breadcrumbs and onions and some spices and so forth. And they can be fried, baked, steamed, broiled, whatever. Typically they're baked, and you want to put them either in a sandwich or a sub or Subway sandwich or a hoagie or whatever else you guys call them, depending on the part of the country where you are. And in our digital world, the meatball menu consists of the three vertical or the three horizontal dots, so one side by side. And you just envision that if you got rid of the bread and the sauce, what's left are the three meatballs in your sandwich. So that's a good way to remember it. So that's your meatball menu. And so again, that's going to, when you click on it, it'll provide access to a list of actions or settings related current or context regarding whatever it is that you're looking at. And there's also something called the kebab. Now, the kebab is very similar in functionality and in looks to the meatball menu, but the kebab was not invented in Italy. It actually was invented in the Middle East. And symbolically, instead of it being a one meatball in three meatballs in a row, it's in a column. So three meatballs, one over each other in a nice, neat column. That's called a kebab. And kebabs are usually, that's in the digital world. But in the culinary world, it's a little bit different. So that's usually meat, fish, vegetables. You cook it on a skewer or a spit. And there's a lot of popular variations of those as well. Then there is the doner. Now, the doner was invented in Turkey, and it's a type of kebab, but it's seasoned with it's seasoned meat cooked with on a vertical rotisserie. Vertical is this way, rotisserie, and it can be lamb, chicken, beef, pork, you name it. And a lot of times they'll bring that to the table at the restaurant. So right in front of you, they're cutting these usually very, very thin slices of the meat while it's still cooking at your table. So it's a real neat thing if you've never done it. And usually those types of restaurants, you're going to get a very awesome tasting menu no matter what you order. And with the doner, it's usually either served on or with pita. And then, vegetables and sauces and maybe some rice and some other things. In the digital marketing world, the doner is similar to the meatball in the way that it's vertically aligned, similar to the hamburger as well, but it's three lines that are centered horizontally, and each line is a little bit shorter than the one above it. So it could resemble an upside down pyramid or a funnel or a bad day at the wedding cake table. But it shows additional menu items once you click on it, and those items that don't normally fit in the interface, again, usually because it's a smaller screen or just a very busy website. And it helps to hide those less frequently used menu items. And it, of course, lets you know that it's still there. So that's important. Now, then there is the bento. So that was invented in Japan, and it's a single portion takeout, home packed like meal, very common in Japanese cuisine. It typically includes rice, noodles, fish, meat, and you'll have either pickled or cooked vegetables, and normally it's served in a box. And again, it's for takeout. In the digital world, though, the bento, which is akin to what we call the waffle, because it was inspired by that compartmentalized bento box. And so it's usually either 2x2, 3x3, or 4x4 grid of small boxes. So it could be 2 boxes over 2 boxes, or 3 boxes over 3 boxes over 3 boxes, and so forth. The most common one, I think, is going to be a 3x3. That's probably the one you're going to see the most. And it usually you'll see these on dashboards or on home screens, so that you as an end user have quicker access to various sections and applications. And it does help to organize and keep things neater and cleaner and all that. So now, next one is the taco. So the taco was invented in Mexico. It's a soft or crispy tortilla filled with stuff like meat, cheese, lettuce, salsa, and so forth. But in the digital marketing world, oh yeah, there's no taco. Now, there's pizza, though. Pizza is a flatbread. I don't think it's a flatbread, but that's technically what it is, I suppose. And most of the time, you'll have tomato sauce, cheese, various toppings, and so forth. You can also get it, white sauce. You could have it with clams and so forth, but just about anything you want on pizza. In the digital world, a pizza menu is also not invented. All right. Now, there's sushi, also in the digital world, not invented. How boring is this? There is, though, a pizzelle. Now, the pizzelle was invented in Italy, and it often gets confused with fried dough. So typically, fried dough is basically a round piece of dough, roundish pizza dough, and it has big bubbles in it usually, and you can put a bunch of toppings on it, and it's very delicious, and you often eat them at Italian festivals and other types of outdoor events and festivals. With the pizzelle, however, it's an extremely thin dough, very delicate, and it resembles a snowflake or a doily. And like I said, it's very, very delicate, but you could put the same sort of toppings on it. So it could be sugar, brown sugar, cinnamon sugar, honey, maple syrup, and whatever else you want to put on it. In the digital marketing world, a pizzelle is snowflake reminiscent, and it's a series of dots that are scattered, sort of looking like a snowflake. Typically, the center dot is either larger or a different color, or it means more, or it might be the dot that's labeled. And in fancy websites, when you hover over it, wherever you're hovering over will become magnified. And then typically after that, the items will either change color or density, or it'll have a label associated with it if it doesn't when it's not being magnified. So that symbolizes sort of an anchor topic. So you can think of your own website, and maybe you're the anchor of that website. And maybe I'm coming there because I want to look at your online business, but the next person might be looking there to see, what your life is like in the sports world, or maybe they want to see the volunteer work that you do and so forth. So there's so many different pieces of you that make up you, and all of the outer dots connect to the main anchored dot directly. And each of the others may be interconnected, but they are all connected with the center dot. So it's very useful, and it's great for complicated websites, or in the cases like me, complicated lifestyle. So I have, I'm self-employed, so that alone can be tricky, but I do network marketing, affiliate marketing, click marketing, and in my private life, I'm a genealogist. So there's that whole new wing. And then I'd like to do typically outdoor sports, things like that. So and I do a lot of volunteer work. So at one point I was on 24 various nonprofit boards. So that's a whole nother piece of my life. And then I have my, typical social life. And believe it or not, I've got a lot of friends. So I'm pretty grateful for that. But so all these different sort of branches can be symbolized by each of the smaller dots on within that pizzelle menu. So there you have it. It's a straightforward, well, hopefully it was a straightforward way to understand your digital life navigation jargon, and hopefully you'll remember those, especially the hamburgers and the meatballs, because those are the most common, I think. But if you found it helpful, or if you think that this will be helpful to others, please, please, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe for access to more beginner eTools tech tips, and comment below because I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, have a happy, productive, and efficient browsing experience. Thanks for watching. Please hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from me, and we'll see you on the next video.